Good morning, friends and enemies. Welcome into Saturday's Q and Assault, where I answer as many sit-start questions for y'all for tomorrow's slate as possible. Normally, we do this during the Sunday morning time. However, we do have a bunch of international games coming up over the next, I want to say 4 or 5 straight weeks. So I want to make sure I get to your guys' questions the day prior. Otherwise, we'd be here 6 a.m. and we ain't doing all that shit, all right? So every Saturday, we'll be going live to make sure that we answer any questions that you have. If you are watching this after the fact, because I'm doing it a day earlier, I'm going to upload these live for everybody else. Watch these. You need to be a big dog member to be in here. If you want to become a big dog member, the instructions are to my right or left, somewhere in the corner of this video. Adam's got the first question in here. He says, what do you think? Trade Pacheco and McBride for Skattebo and Kraft, PPR League, 12 team. Taylor's my RB1, and I own Jamar, Adams, Keenan, and Rice. So my first thought is I think Pacheco to Skattebo is a major upgrade rest of season. There's a chance that we have a really high ceiling for Skattebo, and Pacheco seems like a nothing burger at this point. When it comes to the tight end drop-off, I've got to say, man, like McBride's a sure thing, obviously, but if it's not a tight end premium league, like anyone who plays in a non-tight end premium league knows that tight ends, while it's nice to have a guy like McBride, it's nice to have the higher upper echelon dudes, they just don't really move the needle for you that significantly, especially guys like Trey who don't score often, right? Like if he gives you 13 points a week, that's great, but like most wide receiver threes are giving you 13 points a week, and it's not like you're going from McBride down to like Hunter Henry or McBride down to Dallas Goedert, who are like really inconsistent, right? So with this move, I would make that move. I would downgrade from McBride to Kraft, and I would make the trade of Pacheco to Skattebo. Phantom says, good morning, gents. Pick 3, full PPR. We got Pickens, we got Addison, we have Coleman, so that's Keon, Jennings, and Hampton. So I don't think I need to really put this into the sit start because top of my head, we are definitely playing Hampton. We are definitely playing Pickens. And then it comes down to Jennings, Coleman, Addison. A little bit difficult based on not knowing whether or not Jennings is playing. And for those of you guys joining for the first time ever, basically, here's a quick breakdown of how the sit start chart works for you guys. So we've got the 3 players that you are asking about. You have my ranking here. So you've got Addison overall at 69. We got Juwan Jennings at 70. We got Keon all the way down at 117 right now. That might actually not have been an updated ranking for him. But regardless, we got Pittsburgh minus 2.5. For Minnesota, minus 3.5 for San Francisco, minus 14.5 for Buffalo. You got the matchup data here. So Pittsburgh is 15th in terms of fantasy points allowed to the wide receiver position. Jacksonville 6th. You got the EPA per pass, and then we have their Vegas lines rolling in underneath that. So Addison and Jennings are right next to each other, 69-70. I think I factored in Jennings' injury designation right now. We don't even know if he's actually going to play. He's dealing with the ankle, with the shoulder. I'm not overly concerned about the shoulder right now. I think that's pretty much healed, but we might be dealing with a high ankle sprain. He was DNP on Wednesday. He was DNP on Thursday. He got back to a limited practice on Friday. I don't know. It feels 50-50 that he's going to play. I do think, I will say, with Addison, I'm a little bit nervous about the overall makeup of the offense, the passing game for Minnesota. Of course, he can connect on a deep ball. If we get news that Juwan Jennings is playing, he's probably going to pop over Jordan Addison for me. Pittsburgh is getting back 2 secondary players as well, likely Deshaun Elliott and Joey Porter Jr., who were limited throughout the week. So I do expect them, at least one of them, if not both of them, to suit up, which is obviously a tougher matchup for them. So my rankings are back-to-back, but I would go Jennings on top of Pickens and Hampton there. Mikey Baby, your lineup looks like this, full PPR. We got a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex. Fields, Dobbins, Hampton, London, Ibuka. Would you start May over Fields, BTJ, and Pickens on the bench right now? So I believe I just updated my rankings to have Fields as a top 10 option this week. I mean, you just love the matchup. Yeah, he's my quarterback 9, and then I think May's like my 12 or 13. So again, Carolina's pass defense, as you could see, has actually been sneaky great. 31st in terms of fantasy points allowed to the quarterback, 27th in EPA per pass. As you can see on the flip side, Fields gets the Miami option, which is incredible here. We do have a little bit of a weather alert down here. It's another little upgrade we made to the system here. Sunday Night Football could see some lingering showers and storms early from the usual Florida afternoon activity, but it would be pretty quickly winding down as the game gets going. So nothing crazy to worry about there. So I would be going Fields over Drake May. You said you have BTJ and Pickens on the bench right now. London, Igbuka. I think Igbuka is a must start. I think Odunze is a must start. I don't know that I feel super confident in London over BTJ and Pickens. I want to say these three are probably really close to each other. So let's look at some Vegas lines and see where they're projecting. We got London, we got Pickens, and we've got Brian Thomas Jr. Okay, so we got London at 34. We've got Brian Thomas at 47, Pickens at 54. So it's actually not as close as I thought it was. Good matchup for London against Washington. They're good against the run. They're not great against the pass, whereas BTJ and Pickens both have really tough matchups. Jacksonville San Francisco and Green Bay. I'm also skeptical about Pickens' ability to be the one there. So again, if we're looking at props here, we do have London with the highest receiving yardage total, the highest reception yardage total, and close to the best touchdown prop here. So yeah, I guess based on my rankings, it's London. Pickens, Chase Brown, or Dobbins need two. I don't think I need to go to the rankings for this one. It would be Pickens and Dobbins for me. I love the matchup for Dobbins. I like the volume floor for Pickens. If this is completely standard, maybe I lean with the two running backs, but Pickens and Dobbins seems pretty secure for me. Juwan Jennings or T. Higgins full PPR. Yeah, I mean, that's going to come down to whether or not Juwan Jennings is playing. I would kind of wait for a report. I'm skeptical on him playing. I'm skeptical on him getting a full dosage of snaps, so I'm probably going to end up leaning T there. Is Jeanty going to be fine or am I cooked? I actually have Jeanty ranked very highly this week, and I think he's a great play. I love the matchup against the Bears. 4th in fantasy points allowed to the running back position, 14th in EPA per rush. His lines are high too. His rushing yardage is at 69.5, receiving yards 13.5. His anytime touchdown line minus 160. That's the highest it's going to be for him all year. So I'm very, very high on Jeanty right now. I'm trying to figure out a way to work him into my big day parlay for this week. If you guys don't follow me on other socials, I do one parlay every Sunday. That's just my 5 favorite player props. We call it the big day parlay because it's a fucking big day. And I hit it in week 1 and we hit it in week 3. So we were 5 for 5, 5 for 5. And then week 2, we were 3 for 5. So we're pretty sexy. We're pretty hot on that right now. So make sure you're following me on the socials. I want to try to figure out a way to get Jeanty into my big day parlay for that. Start London or Hubbard tomorrow. I got Benson, who already played, and Mason. My wide receivers are JJ and Odunze, so it's for my flex spot. Yep, that lines up. I want to say I have London ranked pretty significantly higher, and if it was my lineup, I would also be throwing London out there. I do think we're going to see a nice bounce back for the Atlanta passing game. And New England's run defense is actually a little bit better than given credit for, as you could see, 29th in EPA per rush allowed. So I would lean London there. I guess if it's half PPR or standard, I might close the gap there a tiny bit, but I still like London. Mr. Kevin says half PPR, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex, Odunze, Neighbors, yes. Igbuka, Tet McMillan, Keenan Allen, or Henderson. Start 4, 3 wide receivers, 1 flex. So if you have to start 3 wide receivers, I mean, Odunze is a no-brainer. Neighbors is a no-brainer. I definitely have Igbuka ranked higher than the other 2, even though Keenan's a really strong start too. And then you need to get 1 flex in there. So we'll look at the ones that we are not currently must starting. So Odunze, Neighbors, Igbuka for me are kind of like auto starts at this point. I might have Keenan ranked highest. Oh, no, I don't. Treveyon, Henderson. Okay, so I got Trey all the way down, especially in half PPR. I got him down at 95, but RB 30. So it seems kind of significant when you're looking at it just from a flex matchup. But I still think there's question marks about how involved Henderson's going to be relative to Ramondre Stevenson. But you can see good matchups all across the board. I got Tet 43 overall. I got Keenan Allen 52 overall. So, I mean, game script kind of favors the Panthers and Tet. Still without Jatavian Sanders. Still without Jalen Coker. You could see the lines here. I mean, receiving yards for Tet is up at 66.5. Keenan's is down at 50.5. Same reception line. So Vegas is definitely pushing further towards Tet in this one. Morning, Kels dog. GW dog. Need a flex this week. Ridley, Golden, or Chase Brown. Full PPR. I'm going to say I'm probably leaning Chase Brown, but it's probably close. Ridley. It's not that close, actually. I fucking love this tool. I don't have to like guess where my rankings are and shit. All right, so we got Chase Brown at running back 29, Ridley wide receiver 39, Golden wide receiver 41. Yeah, I mean Chase Brown's got guaranteed volume. I also think there's going to be a world where we swing like too far in one way for the pendulum for the Bengals, where like they had a really down week obviously last week, but I do think they'll have better days ahead. So I got Chase Brown here. The other thing with Golden, I do like Golden as an upside swing as I did last week. However, we are getting back, I believe, both Deron Bland and Trevon Diggs on the outside for Dallas, which will be a big upgrade to their secondary. Pick up Gainwell as Warren is questionable. I guess I'm not worried about Warren. Joff says, non-PPR, am I crazy for thinking Ferguson is a better flex than Higgins, Ridley, or Jennings? Non-PPR, all these guys just feel the same to me, to be honest with you. Like, I think you could just project somewhere from 40 to 60 yards for all of them. PPR doesn't matter. Who's going to have the highest touchdown odds, I think, is probably like the real number you want to look at. If it's my team, you know what? I probably am going to start Ferguson there just because he's going to take up a lot of those CD targets. So, yeah, I mean, I have Ferguson ranked the highest here pretty significantly. But this is PPR. But if you look at anytime touchdown, you've got Ferguson at plus 170, Higgins is plus 280, Juwan Jennings is plus 180, plus 330. I mean, if we hear glaring reports like Higgins is a full go, he's ready to go, everything's great with him. Sorry, Jennings, I meant, not Higgins. If we hear good news out of Higgins and Jennings for the remainder of the weekend, then I might suit up Jennings over Ferguson, but I don't think you'll regret starting Ferguson. Frankie baby, what's up? Is that Frankie Parisi? No, different Frankie. I thought I knew you. Christian Kirk versus Tennessee or Mooney versus the Commanders? Ooh, I like this question. Let's see where I got them. I've got Kirk at wide receiver 44, Mooney at wide receiver 50. I don't hate either of them. As you can see, their numbers are really close to each other, 39.5 to 43.5. Both of their matchups are great. Tennessee's terrible against both the run and the pass. Washington's not great against the pass either. Ultimately, I think in a full PPR league, I would go Christian Kirk. If this is half or standard, I might lean Mooney there. Game environment's probably a little bit better for Atlanta, Washington. As you can see, the point total for Houston and Tennessee is 39.5, so it's probably going to be pretty gross. Alex, PPR pick 2. We don't trust ESPN projections. We never do, never did. All the homies hate ESPN projections, but we need some upside this week. We got Javonte, Jamo, Chase Brown, Matthew Golden, basically trying to weigh out floor and ceiling for the 2 wide receivers. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that your first 2 are probably your best bet. Javonte's played lights out, obviously has an extremely tough matchup, but like when you think of upside, I mean, Jameson Williams is the name of the fucking game. Yeah, as you can see, I've got them in a tier kind of their own. Javonte with the volume, Jameson Williams with the matchup. I think that Goff and Detroit are going to take some shots down the field for sure in this one. So I like Javonte, Jamo. It's not particularly close for me. How are we feeling about Terry? I mean, I can't really tell you anything that you probably haven't seen all over Twitter. You know, he's going to miss this game. Wouldn't be surprised if he misses at least one more game too. I'm not overly concerned about him missing like the long term, you know, all like the reports about him possibly needing surgery. I think that's maybe a little bit overblown, but yeah, like right now it looks like a bad fucking fantasy pick. I think you'll have him in your lineup back in like week 3, I want to say. When is the Commanders bye? Let me check this out real quick. They have a week 12 bye. All right, so it might be a minute. We got Atlanta, the Chargers, Chicago, Dallas. Hopefully, you can get back by the Bears game because Bears Dallas is a nice combo to be able to get into. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine feeling good about Terry right now. Jesse, should I start Judkins over Chuba? I'm kind of feeling good about it. I also have Warren and nothing else. I mean, Warren's a must start for sure. Judkins, I feel like I have ranked pretty highly and possibly above Chuba. Oh, they're really close for me. Okay, so we have Chuba at 48 overall, running back 23. Judkins at 51 overall, running back 25. As you can see, I mean, the Cleveland Browns run defense is ferocious. Like, they don't let up shit. Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry. I don't know, though. Judkins has played really well, and sometimes it's just a matter of, like, you play 4 good running backs in a row. One of them's going to pop off for a good game against you. Their lines are relatively close to each other, as you could see, Chuba and Judkins. I still think Chuba's pretty undervalued just in terms of, like, his volume in fantasy right now. 51.5 to 54.5 in terms of rushing yards. Receiving yards is close. Chuba's projected for 3.5 receptions, which feels high. His anytime touchdown prop is much better. So I do have a slight lean towards Chuba, but I would not blame you either way. They're really anytime 2 players are within, like, honestly, like 6 spots of each other in the rankings, it's more coin flip than anything else. Kevin Smith, Jeanty or Pollard, half PPR. I don't hate Pollard as a play, but I almost definitely have Jeanty ranked above him. Yep. RB17 to RB26 for the week. JL, yes, sir. No, ma'am. Zubair, Tess, what's up, baby? More, Tet or Judkins. Okay, those two, I think I have Tet ranked higher. Yeah, so we have 43 to 51. So again, they're pretty close, but I like the match for Tet. I know Christian Gonzalez is coming back this week, but I also don't think he's going to be right back into, like, shutdown, can't pass against me form, given he's been out for almost fucking 8 weeks at this point. So I'd go back to Tet here. If it's like standard, maybe I lean Judkins, though. Full PPR, Knicks or Herbert at quarterback. At flex, Franklin, Monty, or Jamo. Ooh, okay. I want to say Knicks is ranked really highly for me this week, just, based on matchup alone. I think there's probably a lot of talk on the exterior that's getting Bo Nix fired to fuck up. Yeah, we got him at quarterback 6. I want to say Herbert's probably close, but a spot or 2 below him. Nope, I lied. He is the quarterback 5. All right. Well, you've got my ranking there. We got Herbert, QB5, Bo Nix, QB6, both with very, very generous matchups. The one thing I guess I could say for Bo Nix is I think the game script's is more likely to go haywire for the Broncos, where they're just going to want to run the ball over and over and over again. And, Vegas props. Herbert's pretty significantly ahead of him, and even the rushing yards is not a big separation here. 256 to 219 in terms of Herbert's passing yards. Rushing yards is only 3 yards apart per their prop. So, yeah, I mean, my rankings paint the same picture that that Vegas does. And then you got Franklin, Monty, or Jamo. I mean, hard to sit Monty after last week, huh? Let's see where I got them ranked. There's no way I have Franklin ranked the highest here. Not even close. I want to say I have Jamo probably ranked the highest. Wow, okay. I mean, they're back-to-back. You're going to have to flip a coin for this one. I think I'm more scared about a running back going against Cleveland than I am a pass catcher. So, yeah, Jamo's 58 for me. David Montgomery's 59. They're running back 28, wide receiver 28. Pick your poison, buddy. Pick your poison and live with it. Half PPR, rank best to worst for Flex, Ridley, Golden, Godwin. Yeah, I don't even know if I have Godwin in the ranks this week, do I? Yeah, he's not. He's unranked for me because we didn't have word until, like, just before. It's going to be Ridley, Golden, Godwin, I think, for me. Yeah. 104, 109, and Godwin's probably, if Golden's a 41, Godwin would probably end up in, like, the 46 to 48 range, I would say. Start one, Hunter, Franklin, or Ridley. So disappointing. Yeah, it's tough. I think Ridley's likely going to end up being the top one. Like, Hunter right now is absolutely unplayable. Assuming you mean Travis Hunter, not Hunter Henry. Wow, I have Hunter ranked above Calvin Ridley. Is that correct? I've been wide receiver. No, that can't be correct. Okay, so something's. Oh, it's pulling overall, not flex. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Okay, maybe Hunter's is just, oh, I think I know what happened. Fuck. Okay. So, anyways, he's the wide receiver 63 for me this week. So he should be over here. I realized, so what I do with my rankings is like I have an Excel sheet where I have like QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, flex, and I upload all of them into this database, and then it automatically picks it out for me. But I realized with the flex rankings, it only went down. I think in one of the rows, I only went down to like overall ranking 125 or something like that. So anyone that went below him, if I copied and pasted over 140 players, they didn't have a number identifying with them, so they probably auto-populated a number for Travis Hunter or whatever. But as you could see, yeah, it's wide receiver 63, so he should be well below. And then Troy Franklin, I actually don't hate. I don't think I'm going to start him over Ridley, but I don't hate him. Yeah, so Franklin's number 2 for me there, but Ridley would be my start. We got Moore, Tet, or Judkins. I'm pretty positive that's going to end up being Tet again here. Yep, it's Tet, Judkins, and then DJ Moore for me in that scenario. Anakin said, I do have a question. So sorry, there's so many coming in at once that I probably missed that. Give me a second. The second thing I see you chat in here is not a question. Rather keep McBride. Feels a good option too. I can't find your question. I'm not going to lie. Sorry, Anakin. Okay. Sorry. We're getting a lot of the same questions with a lot of the same players. So this is probably around the time, about 25 minutes in. Well, I'll start skipping questions that we've seen a lot of players for. Tet, Judkins, those guys. PPR, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex league. I have CD, Nico, Rome, Emeka, and Pearsall. So you have a great wide receiver room. Have Hampton and Hubbard. Currently 3-0. Trade Nico and Hubbard for Gibbs or wait and shop CD for an RB1 when he returns. I mean, I would not shop CD. You're 3-0, so you like teams that are 3-0 should be the teams that are buying CD. They should be the teams that are going out for CD. You have the luxury of holding on to him. Nico and Hubbard for Gibbs, to me, is a smash. Yeah, I would love that for you. Huge upgrade. You got Gibbs and Hampton then. Like, I don't think your team's really going to miss Nico too badly with Rome, Emeka, and Pearsall there. So I would make that trade, Swift. Would you try and get off Pollard at this point with Spears coming back? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame you for going for it. I don't know if you're going to get a whole ton in return. He's kind of just one of those guys that I think you can kind of look at and say, like, oh, he's probably going to be the RB 25 over the next 3 months or so. So I don't think he's a must sell. Like, I think it'll be over exaggerated how badly you need to sell him. But at the same time, like, we've seen Tajay Spears healthy before, and he's not like awesome. He's not a guy that like destroys Tony Pollard's value. It hurts him a little bit, but not bad. Drew was good, Nick. 2 questions for you, and one is gross. Full PPR, Pollard or Judkins, and then in half PPR, pick one, Iman or Downs. See, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's what the fuck we talking about over here. Those are the gross questions I want. For this one, let's see what we got. I actually think this is going to be kind of close. This is going to be really close. Judkins 51, Pollard 55, RB 25, RB 26, bike to bike. There you have it. And then we've got top 5 grossest questions. I hope these guys aren't too deep where they're not on the rankings again. That would be disgusting. All right, we in here. Maynor, Downs, Marks, and Fannin. All right. So we've got Marks at 114, Alec Maynor 116, Josh Downs 119, Harold Fannin 128. So you're putting the muscles to work here. The highest mark of anybody is Josh Downs at 41.5 receiving yards. Woody Marks has a significantly higher anytime touchdown mark. I do think GameScript favors Woody Marks here. I also think last week we saw him start to get a bunch of snaps where, he became more important in this offense. That being said, these rankings are PPR, and you said half PPR. So between him and Alec Maynor being this close, I would actually lean Maynor here in this kind of scoring setting. And I also believe Derek Stingley is trending towards not playing. Let me just double check that. Okay, he got back to a limited practice on Friday, and he's questionable, so he's a game time decision. Regardless, so I do think if this is my team, I'm probably leaning towards Alec Maynor. I don't really see a world where you could start Woody Marks unless you're in a full PPR league. Half PPR 12 team dire situation. Would you ship CeeDee Lamb? And if so, what could you possibly get? Trying to shoot for high upside wide receiver, starting running back. I have Chase Brown. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're 0-3 or 1-2, I think it makes sense to get off of CeeDee Lamb and go immediately towards a 2-1 or 3-0 team who feels like they're a wide receiver away for competing for a championship and kind of see what they have at running back. So you're not going to be able to get a top tier option straight up like a Gibbs or whatever, because you obviously have to take a little bit of the discount of injury. One guy I might try for is like Bucky Irving, right? Coming off a really high volume game, but he's been a little bit inefficient. You can go for him. I think Saquon Barkley's been like a little bit underwhelming or disappointing too. So those are probably the guys I would look for running back wise. JL, funny seeing you here. You think I'm going to help one of my league mates out? You think I'm going to help one of my league mates out? Like, you don't got fucking access to all this shit? It says full PPR, Stephon Diggs or Trey Tucker. Okay, I want to say that the Stephon Diggs ranking again. Yeah, okay. So the Diggs ranking is one where he's too low that I think it, again, auto-populated this one. But as you can see, Tucker's wide receiver 45. Diggs is wide receiver 58 for me. Matchup is tough for Diggs. He's not running a ton of routes. Tucker, man, yeah, it's Tucker for me here. If this is my lineup, I'm definitely getting Tucker in. I'm going to ride the hot hand. I also love the matchup. Like, Chicago's secondary is fucking booty right now. They're still down a bunch of their best cornerbacks. Trey Tucker's running all the plays, running all the snaps. Obviously, last week is fluky, but I do think he's going to have spike weeks that continue throughout the season. So for me, it's Trey Tucker here. Pay me my money, Jail. Sign up for a membership. Speaking of, if you are watching this after the fact, again, you could sign up to be a Big Dog member to be part of this, to ask me any of your questions that you like for your lineup on bdge.co. You could sign up to be a Big Dog member right there. That's an easy way to do it, but the easiest and the cheapest way to do it would be through our partner website, MGM. You can go to their app. You can go to their website. If you deposit $10 or more using code BDGE or Big Dog, either one, whatever floats your boat, whatever sinks your submarine, either of those promo codes, $10 or more, using that, play any slip on the day, maybe just ride the big day parlay. And as soon as you do that, you're going to get an in-app message giving you a promo code to our website, to bdge.co, that will get you the Big Dog membership free for the next 3 months. All right. So if you want to be in here for the next 3 months, if you want our weekly rankings, if you want our waiver wire rankings every single week, this is how you do so. All right. MGM code BDGE will get you 3 months free to the Big Dog membership. Pebble, half PPR. I have Chase Browns and Dobbins, JJ, Emeka, Keenan, and Pickens, Terry, Chubb, Downs, Coker, and Horton on my bench. I need trade advice. I'd love a little more context here. Let's see. Chase Brown's at his bottom. I don't think you should try to sell him right now. Dobbins, I don't hate getting off of, I guess. You could try moving Pickens after a big day. Maybe a Metcalf. I think you have a lot of players that you could wait on big days for, even though it's always a big day for us, and then try moving them. Like, both Emeka and Pickens are really benefiting from injuries to their teammates. So, like, Emeka's going to keep playing really well, but there will be a time where on the field, Evans is playing, Chris Godwin is playing, Jalen McMillan is playing, and Igbuka is maybe the best player on the field, but it's still going to be difficult for everyone to get home. So he keeps playing really well. I mean, his stock and his value continue to skyrocket. So I feel like you could try to move either Emeka or Pickens if you want to wait a couple of weeks while Pickens gets a little bit of a pump up while CeeDee Lamb is out. And then, yeah, I mean, you need running back help very badly. Yeah, I would definitely try to target a running back. I would even maybe try to move Justin Jefferson because his name value is probably still higher than what his fantasy value is going to be for the remainder of the season. So a JJ for like a Bucky, or maybe even like if you really want to get spicy, you can try to go from like a Mecca to maybe like Cam Skattebo plus something else, like a wide receiver 3. And that way you get a couple pieces that start to fill holes in your lineup a little bit. Pick 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. So we got JK, Javonte, JCM, Stevenson, and Tootin. Yeah, I mean, the 2 running backs off the rip for show are going to be JK and Javonte. We like Stevenson could have a big day, but we just really don't know what that running back room split's going to be like after his 2 fumbles. JCM, that's just a split backfield. Atlanta's a pretty good run defense also. I don't want to in over those top guys. Wide receivers, we got Keenan, QJ, Pittman, Wandell, Shaheed, or Mooney. Massive underdog PPR league, 12 teams. So Pittman comes to mind immediately, and then I probably want to split the difference on one of those Chargers wide receivers. You got Pittman, you got Keenan, you got Quentin. I think they're back-to-back for me. The other 3 are not in the running in this one. So I have Pittman, Keenan, Quentin. I have Keenan and Quentin Johnson back-to-back, 52 overall, 53 overall. Pittman's up at wide receiver 22, 46 overall. I think there's going to be fireworks in this Rams-Colts game. Like, I love the environment here. I think the Rams are going to score pretty easily. I think it's just going to lead to a lot of passing for the Colts, which Pittman's kind of been the number 1 in the passing game right now. They all have very similar lines per Vegas, as you can see. 54.5 receiving yards, 50.5, 52.5. All of them are 4.5 receptions across the board. So, yeah, I mean, you said you need upside, massive underdog. I can't really tell you anything that you don't know about Keenan versus Quentin Johnson. Like, Johnson maybe makes the big play. Keenan's been such a red zone target. He could have a higher volume day. I think Quentin Johnson's more likely to flop, but he's also probably more likely to give you a little bit more upside or ceiling there. So, do with that what you want. I think ultimately, if it's my team, as tough as it is, I'm probably sitting Quentin Johnson. Hate to put that on record, but hate to put on record that I'm sitting the GOAT. Where the fuck was I? Marseille, Javonte, Jalen Warren, Matt Golden, and Jamo. I need 1 running back and 1 flex. I have Jalen Warren ranked very high, I believe. I just love what we've seen out of him. I love his involvement. Yeah, he's an overall top 24 player for me, the RB16, which is going to be higher than Javonte given the matchup. And Dallas is down both their center and their first-round offensive lineman, Tyler Booker. So they're pretty depleted on the offensive front, and that's not a good thing when you're going against the Green Bay Packers stout line. So that's Jalen Warren for me for running back. You need 1 flex. So Javonte and Jameson Williams are going to be pretty close for me. I will say, like, if you need upside, then Jameson Williams might make a little bit more sense here. Just obviously given the nature of the beast out there in Detroit. Full PPR leaning towards the 2 running backs. But Golden has a good matchup. Is this his breakout week? It could be. Like I said before with Matthew Golden going against Dallas, let me check and confirm. But I do believe that the Dallas Cowboys should be getting back Deron Bland and Trevon Diggs in this one. Yeah, Deron Bland and Diggs were both full practices on Thursday and Friday, which, it doesn't mean like Golden can't have a good game. It's not like those 2 are like absolute shutdown corners, but yeah, Golden would be he'd be my 4th option in this one. Johnny B, should I trade Pickens for Judkins full PPR as a season? My running back room is Breece, Achane, Mason, and Ramondre. I mean, that's a good, decent, pretty decent room. Wide receiver room is Odunze, Pickens, McLaurin, Nico, Ayuk. I mean, I would say straight up 1 for 1, it's fair and it's fine, and I have no problem if you wanted to do that. I would say I kind of feel like you have a little bit more strength in your running back room already. Between Hall, Achane, and Mason, I feel way more hesitant about the depth at wide receiver to give up a guy like Pickens. Like, Nico's good, but underwhelming right now. Odunze's really good. Ayuk, I have no idea when he's going to be back. McLaurin's in the middle of injuries, so like you're already kind of like a ticking time bomb at wide receiver, I think, a little bit. So I would probably hold steady with Pickens for now. Anthony, start London, Hubbard, Jeanty tomorrow. Yeah, that's going to be Jeanty for me. I got Benson already played at Mason. My wide receivers are JJ. I think we already did that one, but yeah, I like Jeanty. I feel my only weakness on my squad. We got you, Anakin. Here we go. I feel my only weakness on my squad is RB2. Would your thoughts on my team overall? Was thinking I could. Oh, okay. So now this. I'm not sure what your team was. Fuck, I'm sorry. It's really far up in the comments. I don't even know if I'd be able to get back there. Current roster: Allen, Danny Dimes, Jonathan Taylor, Mason, Monty, Aaron Jones, AJ Brown. Here we go. I got you. Jonathan Taylor, Jordan Mason, Monty, Aaron Jones, AJ Brown, QJ, Sutton, Pearsall, Jamo, Kraft, likely. Damn, it's a team. I don't know. Like, this feels like a if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of team. I think you can ride JT and Mason for right now. I think there's a good chance that even when Aaron Jones gets back, Mason is kind of the guy there. I think Monty's always playable in good matchups, and Detroit's offense is good enough that the game script is usually going to be in their favor. I get it, though. Like, I would understand if you wanted to try to package Monty and Ricky Pearsall. I think Pearsall is a decent trade high candidate. Like, if, let's say Monty gets in the end zone this week again, for the third straight week, and then Pearsall pops off again if Juwan Jennings doesn't play, then you might be able to package two of those guys together for, again, a dude like a Bucky Irving or a Josh Jacobs or something like that, which I would be super fine with you doing. Where the fuck did you go? What the hell? Are you guys going to release more shirts, specifically ball knower or smoochies again? Possibly. Definitely not during the season. We're way too busy right now with like content and all this kind of stuff to do those. Those shirts, they take a while because we like hand make them. We work wholesale with like a company that we really like. They send us the blanks of the t-shirts, and then we hand print the designs onto those. So they take a long time. So I don't know if we're gonna end up doing those ones again or getting them back up. We might print the big day shirts. Are a different blank. They're a different company that makes the actual blank for the shirt. And we can put the designs from Smoochies or Ball Knower on here. They're just a little bit of a different feel. So we're kind of toying with the idea, like, do we release the same design again, but on different shirts? It feels a little bit weird to do that, to be honest. So I'm not sure. I can't give you a hard answer, but a little bit pessimistic. Just curious, how do you make your big dog rankings? Do you use this tool for player props and matchups? You go off vibes? Does it depend on the quality of your breakfast bagel that morning? How do you make your big dog rankings? Do you use this tool for player props and matchups? So my process for making rankings, you guys actually, like, if you follow my content throughout the week, you kind of watch my process as I do it. So when I make my rankings video on Wednesday, you guys could see, like, I don't make them in numerical order for you guys, right? I bucket players into tiers of how I feel about them, right? I have the must start, the feel good, the dub flex, the shaky flexes, and the rather nots. So for me, I found the process is much easier when I bucket them that way and then re-rank them within tiers. So when you get into the nitty gritty of like, do I like this guy more than this guy? You start to kind of overthink that stuff. But when you could just look at an individual player and say to yourself, how do I feel about this player this week? Like, I look at Jaylen Warren, I'm like, I feel great about him, right? I'm just dragging him into the feel good category. And that's kind of the way I do it. So like when you see my running back rankings video where I drag guys into the tier, that is genuinely the beginning of the process of how I'm ranking my players. So I will do all that. I'll drag players into their buckets, into their tiers. And then once I do that within the actual tier, then I need to reorder them and say like, okay, they're all in the tier together, but like I'd still rather rank this guy above this one. And then once that's lined up, then I basically have my positional ranking. So I'll do that for running backs. I'll do that for wide receivers. Quarterbacks and tight ends are a lot easier just because there's only 32 of each pretty much that you're ranking. And then when I get into the flex, then that could be a little bit more feel thing. I genuinely, the longer I've been doing this, the more my process has boiled down to like less overthinking and just saying to myself, like sitting back and saying, okay, if this was genuinely just my lineup right now, and I'm deciding between Jaylen Warren or Javonte Williams, which one of those guys, when 1 o'clock hits, is going to be in my lineup, right? Like, and I know just from an instinctive feel, like I like Jaylen Warren a lot more. So when I'm doing flex decisions like that, if I find myself saying like, okay, my lineup, I have Javonte and Jameson Williams, like this is a real decision I have in a league, and I would start Jameson Williams based on that thinking over Javonte Williams. Like if I'm going to actually make that decision in real life, then I would not have Javonte Williams ranked over Jameson Williams. You know what I'm saying? So like when it comes to the flex, I genuinely go like player by player and I ask myself, would I rank the guy below him? Would I start the guy below him over the guy above him if this is my actual lineup right now? So it's very much vibes. But then when there are tiebreakers, yeah, I will look at Vegas. I will look at matchups. I will look at all the data that I'm using with you guys to help with your sit-start decisions. So this is why it was so important for me to build out a tool like this, because I am trying to portray and display all of the actual information that I personally use to make this stuff, to make these decisions. When I sat down during the summer, at the beginning of the season, I said, okay, how do I make tools? What kind of software can we build that takes into account everything that goes through my mind when I make a decision? And it is injuries. So I built the injury report. If you watch the rankings videos, every time we go to a matchup, I put the injury report down because that shit matters. We have the weather alerts. This is obviously not working right now, but I promise it will be by next week. We have the weather alerts because weather matters in these matchups. And then we have the matchup, of course. And then we have the Vegas props. So I'm looking at all of these things that I personally use to make my decisions. And I say, how can we automate this fucking process? How can we automate everything so that all of the little fucking moving parts just smack you in the face at once and make the best decision for you? So good question. Some matchups, some vibes, a lot of just refining the how do I feel about this player into actual numbers, you know? Frankie Baby, Matthew Golden at Dallas or Ian Maynard at Houston? That's going to be Golden for me. I've got Nico, Neighbors, and Ibuka and Sutton. Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculously tough. Full PPR, 2 wide receiver and 1 flex. Tough to sit any of them, especially on the fields of Sutton versus Neighbors last week. Yeah, they're going to be so close to my ranking. I actually feel like I have Ibuka probably ranked the lowest. Feels like criminal to tell someone to sit Ibuka at this point. Was it Neighbors and Sutton? Yeah, so I got Neighbors, wide receiver 4, Nico, wide receiver 5 because of the matchup against Tennessee, Sutton, wide receiver 10 because of the matchup against Cincinnati, and then Ibuka, he's 13. Like, obviously, he's a phenomenal play, but as you can see, he's got the lowest, Vegas numbers here, the longest touchdown props, the lowest yardage prop, so very close, but the matchup against Philly is probably the tiebreaker here. I think he's in the same tier as guys like Courtland Sutton, where, like, you feel great about having them in your lineup, but you're picking and choosing amongst the riches here. So, hey, Pook and Stain, Romeo Doubs or Khalil Shakir? This is my type of fucking question. This is a good one. I like this one. I think Shakir is probably going to be ranked higher. Yeah, kind of significantly higher. A little bit surprising, but again, Doubs is like, I don't know what Doubs just never fucking does anything, bro. And Dallas is getting their cornerbacks back. Shakir, I like the matchup with New Orleans. I feel like we have such a safe floor with Shakir. Their numbers are very close. The ranking probably should be a little bit closer than this, admittedly. Wide receiver 30 to wide receiver 40. But at the end of the day, I just trust the number one passing weapon of Josh Allen more than I do Romeo Doubs. But the touchdown upside for Doubs is definitely a little bit higher. All right, we've been at this for 45 minutes, so I apologize if we have not gotten into everybody's questions. But we have to end eventually here. And hopefully a lot of the questions that I did end up answering for everybody earlier got to the more popular questions for everybody else ripping in the chat. You know what I will do? Let's do a quick rapid fire right now for the next 10, 15, just to make sure I didn't miss anybody, hopefully. I have BTJ, Ladd, Keenan, Pollard, and Pickens. I need 2 to flex. Cook and Javonte are my running backs. Neighbors and Rome are my wide receivers. So I think there's a very good case to be made to flex, start someone over. I guess you can't actually start any of those guys over Javonte because they're your running backs. All right, so this whole speed round did not fucking work out at all because you have 5 guys that are ranked really closely to each other probably. Keenan, Pollard. Oh, yeah, I guess you could start Pollard over Javonte, but I have Pollard ranked behind Javonte. I have Ladd as my 1 here, Brian Thomas as my 2, Keenan Allen right behind him as my 3. Pickens right behind him as my 4. So it's wide receiver 23, 24, 26. Again, wouldn't fault you anywhere, but I do have Ladd as my number 1. I do have Pollard as my number 5. And then it's kind of on you to just choose where you want to go here. Rardo, full PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex going once, going twice. I have May, Bucky, Chase Brown, Tet, London, Ferguson, Flowers, and ETN and flex. I have Worthy, Ridley. Okay. We just simply can't do rapid fire with 15 players. What are the questions here? What are we even fucking answering? You have no running backs on the bench, so I don't even know why you'd include them. So we can't start anybody over there. We're just deciding on wide receivers. So we are starting Flowers for show. We are starting... Yeah, I think you hit this out of the park. I think you're good to go. You have London. You got Flowers. You got Tet as your 3. You got ETN as your flex. Great. Yeah, all beautiful there, Ardo. I ain't changing a damn thing if it's my team. Mr. Influence, what up? Half PPR. If Jennings plays, would you start him over Pittman? No, I would not. Pollard or Judkins? Very, 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 very close. I believe I answered that question already. I think I'm going to ride the hot hand with Judkins. Yep, 51-55. Love to see it. Love to see it. Love to see it when my brain and my heart match up. What are your levels of panic with BTJ, Drake London, and Ladd? In terms of, let's rank them on from a scale of 1 to 10. 1 to 10 for BTJ. 1, not worried at all. 10, like, God damn it, I wish I didn't even think about drafting him. I would say BTJ, I'm at like a 5. Drake London, I'm at a 4. And Ladd, I'm at a 2.5 to 3. Jacob, the Jeanty suck? Absolutely not. That's the offensive line. Wide receiver Ridley and Ricky for Keenan and Olave. 12. I hate these lateral moves where it's just receiver for receiver versus for receiver for receiver. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd go Keenan and Olave there. No, I know you. Yeah, it's hard to be high on Ridley right now. Keenan and Olave just both have such safe floors, and I do think Ricky's going to eventually have target competition there over the course of the season. Chicago versus Las Vegas, Gino or Caleb? All right. We haven't had a QB question yet. I want to say I have Caleb ranked probably higher. But I do like Gino a lot. He's a top 10 guy. Yep, QB7 versus QB10. Please answer me on rapid fire. All right, so Beer, I got you. Full PPR. Am I making the right lineup choice? Gino, Benson, Judkins, Neighbors, BTJ, Tyler Warren, Jalen Warren, and Bench, McMillan, Janet. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be answering here. Benson, you already played. I would play Judkins over Henderson. Neighbors, BTJ. Warren is good. McMillan. Okay, so Tet. You're not playing Tet over Neighbors. You're not playing Jalen Warren over any of those guys. I do think I might have Tet ranked over BTJ, though. Yeah, I do. I have Tet ranked over BTJ. Vegas has a slight lean that way as well. So, all right, I'm out of here. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today. As always, we will be doing this next weekend for your sit-start questions. There are international games for the next 3 or 4 weeks consecutively, so these will likely still be on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern going forward. So mark your calendar, put it in Sharpie on your wife's forehead. Just make sure you know where to be, when to be it, and how to be, all right? Again, if you are not part of the live stream originally, you're watching this after the fact, you can go sign up to be a Big Dog member on bdge.co. Cheapest way to do so is through our partner, MGM, code BDGE. When you deposit $10 or more, play a single slip. They'll give you 3 months free to the Big Dog membership, all right? I'm out of here. Good luck with your lineups tomorrow. Let's dominate, all right? Smoochies.